Well, let's introduce our guest then, Amit Chhabra, the health business head with PolicyBazaar.com. Amit, hi, good evening. Thanks for joining in. Let's start off first with the commentary you just heard from the IRDAI. And, two things really stood out. One is a natural calamity insurance. We don't know the details of the same, but, the fact is that unfortunately the cyclones all around the world have been increasing. In fact, I was just reading a report about how in the Arabian Sea itself this year they have seen 5 cyclones as opposed to one that we usually see on an average every year. I'm sure this natural calamity insurance will gain a lot of importance amidst this climate change that we brought upon ourselves.
That is very true. In fact, that's one of the things which COVID-19 has taught us, right? Insurance was always supposed to protect you against what you don't know may happen in the future. However, what you see generally is people protecting their cars, their or their health with insurance. But I think there is probably a lot more unknown which today we don't know. So, for example, a year back, nobody knew something like COVID-19 would strike, and it would keep all of us at our homes for almost a year now. So from that perspective, yes, I think that's a very welcome step. I think the regulator, the IRDAI, has done some great things over the last 6-8 months to make insurance a lot more available, a lot more easy and friendly for customers to buy. So this is, I think, again, a step in the very right direction where in case a natural calamity strikes, then specifically in the vulnerable areas, there is protection for the common masses. We will know more details as we move forward because, again, as you said, it's still being worked on. But I think it is something which is very much needed given how things are right now.
Okay, all right. Well, let's talk about then the topic at hand and the other announcement that came in from the IRDAI last week, and that is insurance via video. Up until now, the process of insurance, or at least how I got my insurance, was an agent came over to my office rather. I had to submit all of my documents. He took a couple of signatures here and there. It was a whole form I had to fill up. At least mercifully now, all of my premium payments happen directly from my bank account. But now, of course, there's no question of me meeting any agent or me putting down my signature in any form because we all have to practice social distancing measures. So today, if let's say I want to buy a new insurance, and let's say I don't have any other insurance before, if I'm a brand new customer, how has the process been made easy?
Sure. See, the process is now end-to-end digital. So just to explain, there are probably 2 steps of buying insurance. One is that or rather 3 steps. The first step is choosing which insurance company do you want to go for and which product do you want to go for within that. Now you have options available online. So you can go to PolicyBazaar, you can go to insurance company website, or you can go, you can Google your way into finding out which product do you want to go for. Comparatively, sometimes earlier what you used to do was, as you said, an agent would visit and bring you brochures of products from insurance companies. So that part is now completely digital. The second part is once you've bought and you have also paid. So once you've paid for the policy, the second part is underwriting of the policy. By underwriting, I mean insurance company deciding if they want to onboard you as a customer or not. For healthy people, it's generally not a problem, but specifically when it comes to people who have diseases, who have comorbidities already pre-existing before you buy the policy, that is where underwriting does become very important. Along with that, in certain products, there's also financial underwriting required, where the insurance company wants to know if financially you are secure enough to buy a large high sum assured policy. So that also required a certain type of KYC where you would want to judge if the customer has a certain type of income or not, also to judge some very simple facts like is the person alive or not. So to do that, earlier what again used to happen was you would have to go to a diagnostic center to one, get a medical checkup done. And second, again, what you would do was somebody would visit your place, would check your KYC documents. So they would check your Aadhaar card or a driving license or a passport to validate that you are the person who is buying the policy. Now, again, in current times when nobody wants to really venture out, this has also become fairly obsolete now. So the IRDAI has come out with norms which say that video KYC can now be conducted. So which means that to qualify that this is the same customer who's buying the policy as the identity card, a video KYC will be done instead of somebody physically examining the documents. So that's the financial underwriting and the KYC part of it. The medical underwriting, where earlier you would have to go for a medical checkup, this is also now fairly simplified. All you do is you do a tele-underwriting call in these cases. So a qualified doctor from the insurance company would call you, and they would essentially, understand from you about your health. So they will ask you some very basic questions like, what kind of medicines do you take? Have you had any hospitalization in the past? Any surgeries? Anything? Any past prescriptions or discharge summaries that you may have? They will ask for that, and based on that, they will issue the policy. So everything is done online. There is nothing that needs you to actually, to see somebody or go visit somebody or sign a paper. Signatures have been replaced by OTPs. I think that's a very simple way of of limiting human touch there. So that's the second part where you do the underwriting. The third part is actually getting the document. So now what the regulators also come out with is a very simple guideline around e-policies or digital documents. So, the insurance companies are now encouraging customers, and so is the regulator. They're now encouraging customers to go for digital policies instead of actual physical hard copies. Nobody really wants physical hard copies right now, specifically, because they can potentially be carriers of the virus as well. So what they're now moving every customer and every insurance company towards is a completely digital end-to-end process where, starting from buying the policy to underwriting to the actual document of your insurance policy, everything will be completely digital, managed by the insurance companies and the intermediaries. And for the customer, everything's available pretty much on their phone or on their laptop. You don't have to go anywhere physically to do anything related to your insurance.
All right. So that essentially makes it much simpler. How much time and cost as well does it cut down for the customer then, Amit?
It does, right? So think of it. Earlier, the customer had to meet somebody. That was time consuming. They had to go to a diagnostic center. That was also pretty time consuming. There was no cost for the customer as such, but there's a lot of cost saving for the insurance companies there. So a typical in-person KYC or a medical checkup process, the kind of cost that insurance companies incur for that, now in the digital world, it's probably gone down to 1/10 of the cost. And in terms of the time saved, again, it will bring down the TATs for issuing the policy for the customer having a ready insurance policy in their hands will come down by about 1/5. So for the customer, it means quicker, easier, simplified processes, and obviously safer given the current times. And there is cost saving for the insurance companies there.
All right. Okay. Well, let's talk now about some findings that Policy Bazaar has, unearthed in a recent report. We say that we're in the midst of health crisis, and the coronavirus is really sort of subsuming sort of all other diseases. But interestingly, your report says that only 11% of the health claims are coming in, because of coronavirus. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, see, I think a couple of reasons, and let me give you a bit of a background there. So when we heard back from our customers, a lot of people are right now scared of COVID, and as a result, obviously there is an increased awareness about health insurance. People are buying more and more health insurance. So we then went back and did a deep dive on what kind of claims are we getting. Like, is COVID now the single largest reason for all claims that are coming for health insurance? The simple answer to that is no. It's only about 11% of all claims that are COVID, which is a high number. I won't say it's a very low number, but yeah, still 89% of all the claims that are coming under health insurance are non-COVID claims right now. Now, reasons why this would happen is increasingly we are seeing most people who are contracting COVID are asymptomatic. So you don't really need hospitalization. That's one part. The bigger reason is you have to realize that while COVID is all around us, and there are a lot of people are catching COVID, what you have to realize is a cancer or a heart problem or a brain problem or a digestive system problem like a liver or a pancreatic problem, these remain very, very large problems still. So just to give you simple statistics, the number of deaths that India will see from COVID is only a fraction of the deaths that we see every year from cancer or a heart problem or digestive system problems or even accidents for that matter. So COVID still is, while there's a lot of hype around COVID, which is true as well in a way, because it's increasing at a rapid pace. as viewers, you must realize that COVID is still only a small part of the bigger problem that you have to insure yourself against. So 90% of the problem still remains if you don't have a health insurance policy, even if you take COVID out of the picture. The thing that we need to take out of this is having a health insurance policy which is comprehensive enough, which covers you for all illnesses and not just only COVID, becomes very, very critical. So if you stay in a large metro city and you don't have health insurance which covers you for anything that may happen to you, you are at a large risk, and that is what we were trying to understand when we looked at the data. So protect yourself not just from COVID, but from heart ailments, from cancer, from something that may happen to your digestive system. It could be any of these. And the costs, unfortunately, are increasing. So the medical inflation is fairly high in India. The costs, as are coming on the screen, are very, very high for a lot of illnesses, right? It could cost you lakhs and lakhs of rupees, and it could wipe out all your savings if you don't have health insurance that well.
Okay, all right. It definitely is, and just simple mathematics. That's what Policy Bazaar as well has shown. I mean, today you have to spend lakhs of rupees if you're, hospitalized for problems, even if it's because of COVID. We have seen cases of bills inflated to, 10 lakh and 12 lakh rupees. As opposed to that, a health insurance policy does come in pretty cheap. Amit, thanks so much for joining us today, on the Money Show, and just sort of throwing light on how exactly the entire process of buying an insurance policy has been made so much simpler thanks to the IRDAI, which would seemingly seem like a very tough task, to sort of conduct amidst these social distancing measures. We will take a very short break right here on the Money Show. Don't go anywhere. We have lots more lined up.